In today's video, it will cover employ the M136 anti-tank rocket. This is the replacement in the U.S. military inventory for the M72 Law series. This particular rocket is also more commonly known as the AT-4. Not to be confused with the Russian-made AT-4 anti-tank guided missile. The reason this got the nickname of AT-4 is because it fires an 84 millimeter warhead, unlike the Law rocket, which fired a 66 millimeter warhead. This particular rocket system will puncture the armor on a main battle tank, on a modern main battle tank. It will not puncture the armor on the front glacis plate or the front of the turret, but it can puncture the armor on the sides and rear of the turret and the sides and rear of the tank. The exception to that would be if it has anti-RPG caging or armor on the outside. Because this is only a single shape charge warhead, it will detonate on that caging and it will not reach the vehicle. This is not like the US-made Javelin anti-tank missile, which has a tandem warhead or tandem shape charge system in the warhead, where you have one shape charge that defeats the protective armor on the outside and the main shape charge which punches through the armor on the vehicle. This is a one-shot disposable launcher. Now, for reference for this, I am using STP 21-1-SMCT, Soldier's Manual of Common Tasks, Warrior Skill Level 1 from October of 2006. The tasks I am covering will include 071-054-0001, prepare an M136 launcher for firing. Task 071-054-0002, restore an M136 launcher to carrying configuration. Task 071-054-003, perform misfire procedures on an M136 launcher. And some of this final task, 071-054-004, engage targets with an M136 launcher. Approximately half of that task covers the different firing positions while using the AT-4. Those same firing positions can be used for the Law rocket and their comparable weapon systems around the world, the copies. Now, the very first thing you do with an anti-tank rocket system, you first perform your inspections. Now, this one clearly is a dummy, this is a trainer. The first thing I would do would be check the banding. You have three main types. Black band is the high explosive anti-tank. Gold, as this is the target practice tracer, also known as a TPT. Blue is the trainer. Now, this one has been converted over for use just as a trainer. It will not fire any training projectiles. You go through, check your tube, make sure that there are no cracks, no dents, no bulges, any location on the tube where when the rocket ignites, it could vent gas and flames into the firer. Then you make sure that your transport safety pin is in place on the back of the launcher here. You also make sure that the black rubber lanyard holding the pin is in place. You check the rubber seal on the front cover It is a large black rubber seal. If it is damaged, remove the rest of the seal, check inside, make sure there is no foreign material inside that could interfere with the firing of the rocket. Check the rear of the launcher. There's supposed to be a plexiglass type cap on the back of here directly behind the rocket. Make sure that is in place and it is not damaged. If it is damaged, just make sure that there's no foreign material inside by the rocket that could interfere with the rocket, that could damage the rocket. Check your shoulder strap, that it's in place, that you can unfold it, and that you can button it back into place. Check that your safety lever is on a safe position and that you can move it back and forth freely, that it's not going to fall off. Now, if this had the transport safety pin, I should not be able to press down on the safety catch here, the red safety catch, and move it. You also want to check that your shoulder strap is not frayed, it is not damaged, that it is in position. You want to check your front and rear sights. Open up the covers. Make sure that the sights themselves are not damaged. This one is. This one was melted to keep from getting proper function on this rear sight. Fold it back down, close the covers back up. You do not check the trigger because you always run the possibility you press the trigger, for some reason the rocket fires, so do not check the trigger. That's your basic pre-fire checks. You'll do this before you go out on the mission. Now, when you're ready to employ this for firing, the first thing you do, you take it off your shoulder if you're carrying it by the shoulder strap, or you take it off your rucksack, or you pick it up off the ground next to you in the fighting position. Remove the transport safety pin. Lower the shoulder strap. Now, here's a variation from the way I was taught compared to what the CTT manual says. The CTT manual says to put this up on your shoulder and then open up your sights. I was taught in basic, open them up before you put them on your shoulder, because it's a lot easier, because you can get downward pressure smacking it to open it up, which makes it easier. At this point, you then put the launcher up on your right shoulder. This can only be fired from the right shoulder. Grasp the front of your shoulder strap with your left hand, pulling it back into your shoulder. Check your back blast area, the area behind your launcher. Now, there is a diagram on here showing you the size of the danger area for this system. It extends back approximately 60 meters from the back of the launcher. So you want to look back behind you 60 meters. As you see, it's a giant cone coming out from the edges of the venturi. You yell out in combat, "Back blast area clear," as loud as you can. If you're in an ambush and you're going to fire this, you signal for the person to get out of the way as quickly as possible, as quietly as possible. Then, using your thumb on your right hand, take your safety lever, move it out, bring it over to the right side of the fire controls here. Don't worry about folding it back, it'll do that on its own. Your target, you sight in, press down with your fingers on the red safety catch. Using your thumb, press the red trigger, and the launcher should fire. If it does not fire, you go into Misfire Procedures. You immediately yell out "misfire." Keep the launcher on your shoulder, release the red safety catch, recock, the launcher. You should only just have to push it forward, but because I fired it, I gotta do that to reset my safety catch. Recock your launcher. Check your backblast area again. Resight on your target. Press down on the safety catch again. Try pressing the trigger. If it does not fire again, repeat for a third time. If it still does not fire after the third try, release the safety catch. Put the cocking lever back into the safe position. Remove it from your shoulder. Insert the transport safety pin. Keep the weapon facing downrange and set it down on the ground. You will then retrieve the next rocket that you have available, go through, do your pre-fire checks, getting everything set up, and you fire that rocket against your target. Now, the misfired rocket, do not leave it behind. Place an explosive block over where the warhead would be, which is in this general area. Detonate it and destroy the launcher. Now, just like with the law rockets, you want to destroy the tube after you fired the launcher, because these also can be used as mortar tubes. This particular one is an 84 millimeter warhead. So that means you can use mortars for the 81 millimeter, which is their NATO medium mortar, and you can use the 82 millimeter mortar from the former pecan block countries. Same procedure, you put a board down on the end, nail in the center. You got your little feed cone here, drop your mortar down inside and fire if you have the correct angle. Now, if you do not fire the launcher for some reason or another, you need to put it back into carry configuration. Immediately release the safety catch if you have it pressed down. Return the cocking lever to the safe side, which will take the tension off of the firing system. Insert your transport safety pin, then go up to the front, close your front and rear sight covers, making sure to put the sights inside. Now, if you adjusted the rear sight to anything other than its preset location, you need to go back to that preset point, which is 200 meters, the 2 mark. And then it would be ready for transport. Now, for engaging targets with the AT4. I'll show you some on the sights here. You have a rear peep sight. Down below here you have your range. The numbers are in hundreds of meters. You can adjust your range using this little lever here. Each click adjusts it 50 meters, either up or down. Now, this shield up here, right now it's set for daytime firing. If you want to fire it in low light, you move this shield off to the side. It shows a larger peephole that you can use to line up on your front sights. Now, on your front sights, you see here you have a center post, and you have 2 lead posts, one on the right, one on the left. Now, if your target is stationary, you will line up off the center post. Put it on the location you want to hit on your target. Now, the difference, the cutoff for speed for your fast and slow moving targets is 10 miles per hour. So anything below 10 miles per hour is a slow moving target. Anything over 10 miles per hour is fast moving. Now, if it is a slow moving target and also against all oblique targets, which means your targets that are traveling at an angle, You will put the center post over the very front edge, the leading edge of the vehicle. Now, if the vehicle is going in reverse, you put that front sight post over the very rear edge of the rear deck. And then your round should hit in the center of the vehicle. Now, if it is fast moving, you will take the corresponding lead post here, and you will put that over the center of the target where you want to hit. So if the tank is coming from this direction, it's coming from the right, I will take the right-hand lead post here, put it over the center of the vehicle. By the time the warhead hits it, it should hit around the center mass of the target. Now, if you get confused, there is a drawing showing you the aim points. Now, I will make some notes here. There are 4 firing or employment methods for the AT-4, and this would be corresponding to other anti-tank weapons. The first is your basic, single firing. You have one soldier with only one launcher. This is employed against targets that are 200 meters or less. They get in with their estimated range data and they fire. Hopefully they hit their target. If they miss, they need to change positions and obtain a different launcher and get new firing data. Because they're so close to the target, they're going to start taking incoming rounds from the enemy, so they have to change their positions. The next type is sequence firing. You have one soldier with more than one AT-4. They get their range data, they adjust it in, aim on their target, and they fire. If they miss, they make the corresponding adjustments, and they fire with the next launcher, and they keep going until they run out of launchers, until they destroy the target, or they are no longer able to fire because of incoming fire. The next method is pair firing. You have 2 soldiers with 2 or more launchers each. The first soldier becomes the firer, the second soldier becomes the spotter. The first one calls out his estimate on the range and the lead and the speed on the target, fires. The second person observes the impact of that round, where the rocket hits, makes adjustments and calls it out to the first firer, who then becomes the spotter. The second person then fires, and they keep going back and forth until they've destroyed the target, till they have the correct range and correct lead and correct speed. The final version is volley firing. This is for multiple firers. You're firing on the same target with the same data, the same speed, the same range. You have one person that's in charge of the firing party. When that person yells out fire, everyone hits the triggers at the exact same time. Hopefully one of those rounds, if not all of them, hit your target and destroy it. Now the next step would be the firing positions, which will be in the next video. So you could consider that kind of as a part 2, but I'm going to do it as a general for all disposable anti-tank weapon systems, because it would be comparable for each one, maybe slight variations on the stuff, but they'd be all similar. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essay ons.